Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have been promising Marie and Patty actually for quite a while that I was going to come to one of our local churches to video some of the tombstones and some of the actual graves. But at the moment I'm actually at the Mary Magdalene Church, which is in Hocknell, Nottingham. And is where Lord Byron, the famous poet, is buried. A few years ago I did steward at this church with my partner, and it's an absolutely beautiful church which I will show you in a moment. But I just want to show you first how the tombstones are all sort of stacked against the wall, and it goes that way all around the cemetery here. As you can't see, those are for the sun. The only tombstones that are in close to their original places are the ones you can still see standing out in the middle of the cemetery. Some of the oldest graves here go back to the 1400s. The church has been enlarged several times and redesigned several times since it was originally built, and the biggest tower of the church is the oldest part, which was from 1331 if I remember right. It is actually called the Church of St. Mary Magdalene, I believe. I'm certain it's Mary Magdalene, but it may not be in that order. But it's, as I said, an absolutely beautiful place. It's just a shame that over the years so many locations of graves have been lost, because it means that all of these people who have been buried here over the last 500-600 years, for the most part, nobody knows exactly where they are. And I don't know about you, but if I was a spirit and that was the way my grave had been left, I don't think I'd be very happy. However, I do think that's preferable to the fact that the church has actually been enlarged over other parts of the graveyard, which again is where some of the other stones, some of the other gravestones that are stacked up come from. I would have taken you inside today, but the church is not open. Normally it is open on Friday nights, or Fridays, but I have not seen the stewards go in yet, so I don't believe it's opening today, probably with it being so close to Christmas. But it has some of the most beautiful stained glass anywhere in the UK, to be fair. I'm going to have to check, and I'll put it in the comments under the video to remind myself who the artist of the stained glass was. But I know he was someone who was exceptionally famous. But what you're seeing now is basically the church as it stands today. But that tower is the oldest part of the church, and it contains the... oh, I've forgotten now. It's essentially the vicar's office, but it does have a proper name and I can't remember it right now. I have taken photographs of some of the older stones because I wanted to try and find something that went back further than 1800. But I think most of the stones for that are either on the opposite side of the graveyard, which is rather busy at the moment, or they are the graves that are marked inside the church. There are several pallets on the wall as you go into the church, and in areas which cover up parts of the graveyard, which list on them who is buried under that part of the church and when they died, and any other pertinent information that was on their tombstones. I just think some of these stones are just absolutely beautiful. And considering their age, they're doing very well. I mean, this is the oldest one I could find, which says, in memory of John Collins, who departed this life February 14th, 1775, aged 60 years. Let's see. And his wife, who departed this life January 31st, 1796, aged 73 years. So this is the oldest one I've come across so far. But there are really some absolutely beautiful stones. Unfortunately, the camera that I'm taking pictures with, I don't feel like is doing them justice. And I'm having to use my mobile to do this video because I haven't got a camera that is capable of doing any kind of decent video on its own yet. That is something I'm hoping to do. It was the one thing I asked for Christmas, so we'll see. But if I do manage to get a hold of one of those nicer Sony cameras, I'll certainly come back and do some better photography and videos. There was another thing that I wanted to do for Marie and Patty, which was do some EVPs and try to come in at night at some point and see whether or not we can get any orbs or shadow figures or anything like that, because I've walked through here hundreds of times at night and I'm certain I used to see things moving out of the corners of my eye, and I don't see there to be any way possible with a graveyard that's had so much upset that there would not be some fairly unhappy spirits. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to attach the photographs that I have took to the end of this video, and you can be a judge yourself and see whether you can make out any of the data. As soon as I have done the video, I'll put it up either as a reply to one of Marie's or through my own channel, which is just under my name, Chris Keaton. But thanks guys, and hopefully by the time you see this I will have a better camera and already have some better videos on the way for you. See you later guys.